So finding that comfortable position on your back for centering here this morning. Noticing what you need to be comfortable in your body, right? So checking in today, not making the assumption that whatever you did last week or the last time you unrolled your mat is what would serve you in this moment. So getting settled onto your backs, knees bent, feet in the floor. And we'll begin with resting our palms on our belly, if that's okay. That's comfortable for you. If you need to find a different position, go ahead. And once you've settled in, allow gravity to really take over, to a sense of heaviness. Just letting go into the support of Mother Earth. Recognizing the ground beneath you. That support beneath you. And then noticing the space above. So connecting into those opposites, right? There's a sense of solidity underneath us. We can notice which areas of the body are touching the earth. And then a sense of lightness or spaciousness above. So you might feel a slight breeze or the clothing on your skin. And just recognizing both and working with both throughout the practice. So it's so important to understand that one thing isn't better than another. If we can let go of it being good or bad and just being with what is, not striving for something to be other than it is or different than it is, accepting what shows up, accepting the solidity beneath us, the spaciousness above, so accepting things when we feel sad versus when we feel happy. Finding an acceptance of winter weather, darker, longer day or nights versus summer and activity. Right? It all has a role. It's all important. So embracing all of this as a part of who we are living on this planet. And for each of us, it can show up differently in our bodies and in our hearts. We spoke a little bit about our belief systems and just really checking in with all of that to know what is true for us. Dropping into our own hearts and our own truth. And I think we have a better understanding of what our truth is when we have a better understanding of ourselves. And so we have these layers to our being. And we start with the physical layer. And you might scan from head to toe or just hop around and just check in with the physical body, what's showing up for you today, what needs your attention or care. And then notice the breath body and your energy body here. We have the nadis and the chakras. So the subtleties within us. And we work with those energy bodies with our breath. So it's literally our life force. And we have an opportunity to work with the subtle energies via the breath. So we can just slowly deepen it here. I'm going to invite you for now to inhale through the nose and slowly exhale through the mouth. There's a taking in or receiving on each breath in. And a letting go or a surrendering, releasing on each breath out. So just take a moment to work with those opposing energies, the yin and the yang of everything. Taking in and letting go, receiving, giving back. We go into our next layer of our mental and emotional body, Manomaya Kosha, and just recognize who's on the mat today. The thoughts that may be taking you elsewhere, emotions that may be at their surface, and know that this is a safe space to explore all of it. And from there, we go in another layer to our wisdom body. As we slow down, begin to understand more deeply who's here, we can listen to that wisdom body, connect to it, and be guided by it through the practice. Our intuition, our inner teacher, which often arises from the inside out. Right? So this practice is an expression of that inner guru as to what can best serve you. So I guide and make suggestions, and I also invite you to honor your inner teacher and do what's necessary for you to feel nourished and healed by this practice today. The more connected we are to our inner wisdom, to our truth, our own truth, our wisdom from within, we can remember our true essence of bliss and peace. No matter what the circumstances are, we can remember that that is our home, that is our base, that is our truth. Maintain a nice, even breath in and out, and if you'd like to, at this point, shift to just breathing through the nose, you can. Or if you're enjoying inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, then continue with that. I'm going to share with you a reading by Dana Falls from her book, Go In and In. And it's just called Yoga. Yoga is not about the pose. It's not the alignment of toes or hips or shoulders. It's not about the form. Yoga is an invitation to explore, not a command of performance. It speaks the language of the soul. In the flow of breath and motion, yoga coaxes us from the confines of the known across the silent threshold into vastness. Yoga is the union of prayer and movement guided from inside. It is healing and the joy of saying yes to life. Breathe, relax, and feel the body receive its own truth, the seed of freedom flowers within each of us, whenever we are open to what's real. So I just invite you to be open to what's real for you today in your practice. And just find a loving acceptance of who's here, allowing your choices to honor that person, nourish and heal, to feed your soul. And continuing with that breath. Let's go ahead, bring the knees and the feet together, since it's going to be a little bit of an everything practice. You can, if you have a blanket underneath your head, you can leave it there at this point. We're just going to bring the knees and the inner edges of the feet all the way together, starting with our sacral rock, a small movement, just a few inches side to side with the knees. It's always nice to start with the sacrum and the low back. And so we keep our feet planted to begin with. Right? The movement is intentionally small. Mounds of the big toe, pinky toe stay in the floor. We're not allowing the edges of the feet to roll off. And then from here you can decide your truth, right? Your choice here as to what serves you. If you want to make this a little bit bigger, and maybe you try it and you decide, no, it feels good to keep it small, and you can just go back to that. Because we're just beginning the practice, I will invite you to not take this into too deep of a twist, right? We don't need to drop the knees all the way to the floor. I highly recommend we're a little farther into the practice before we do any deep twists. As we began with these smaller movements, notice what happened to the breath and maintain that nice even flow. And then we'll bring that back to center and bring your feet hip width apart and come into our hip hikers or hip sliders, just sliding the hips up the mat towards the armpit, towards the shoulder. Right? Everything stays on the floor. We're just sliding one hip up and then the other. A willingness to keep these movements small, gently and slowly inviting the body into the practice and continuing to listen as to what serves you and make the choices that are in alignment with your truth. Bring this to center, and then we'll find our way into hip pointers. Just point one hip up to the ceiling and then the other. Awareness resting on the breath and what the physical body has to say. Being present to the gift of practice. And then we'll go ahead now, come to center with that one, and then just a few moments of alternating between those two. You can do a few hip sliders and then some hip pointers. Just going back and forth, or if you have a favorite one, maybe you just want to stick with that one, that's okay too. And then rest, bring that all to center, just feel the subtleties or shifts or energies. Just notice what you're experiencing in the lower half of the body and the pelvis. From here, let's go ahead and take our feet probably about mat width apart, open the arms wide, palms up. Finding our way into our double knee drop. On an exhale, release both knees to one side. Inhale, open wide, and exhale, release to the other side. Inhale, open wide, and release the knees side to side. Take your time with this, just moving with your breath slowly. Notice if you'd prefer to breathe both directions through the nose, or if you're enjoying exhaling through the mouth. And then decide if you'd like to involve the head rotating it in the opposite direction of the knees. If the blanket isn't folded too high, if you have a blanket underneath your head, you can still keep it there. If it's folded rather thickly, you may need to remove it. It might feel better. So here we're just very gentle, mild twist through the spine. When you've gone equal times in both directions, come back to center. And let's go ahead and draw the knees into the chest, just rounding the low back. As we hug in, just pause for a moment, feel the stretch through the low back. And take some deep breaths there. Take deep breaths. The belly is compressed into the thighs. We do this in child's pose. It's essentially a reverse child's pose. And then as you breathe into the belly and it runs out of room, you can feel it expand, make room into the low back. Just feel that. And you might want to stay here. This might feel right for you to just pause and be in stillness. Or if you'd like to, we'll go ahead and come into the Apanasana. Inhale, arm lengths away. Hands stay on the knees, the arms do the work. Exhale, pull towards you. Knees to chest. Inhale and exhale. And then we can take this now, knees together, and circle them around in one direction. Just rolling through the top of the sacrum, down through the tailbone, and back up and around. Nice massage in the low back. And switch directions. And then maybe from here, it would feel nice to take the knees and circle them wide and around. And then eventually placing the feet back into the mat. Pause and feel. Just noticing the sensations through the body. So let's get a little bit into hamstrings and hips, just very gently. Extend or bring the right foot up off the floor. Extend it towards the ceiling as you interlace the hands behind the right thigh. And then we'll come into just our moving stretch. On your exhale, bend the knee. You're just going to release the heel towards the buttocks and inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. And inhale, straighten. Just take your time. Nice extended breath, moving slowly. Noticing what's going on in the back of the right leg. Notice the difference of flexing the foot versus pointing it. It's nice for the knee joint too. Just be non-weight bearing and just kind of gently move through the knee joint. Stay safe, just only bend it as far as it feels comfortable for you. The next time you extend, pause here for a moment, and then point and flex. Now we just work through the shin and the calf, and and the ankle joint too. Keep your breath flowing. We can take the foot and circle it in one direction. And switch and circle the other way. And then just hold into a gentle stretch here. Pelvis is neutral. Just a soft stretch. We're not doing anything too strongly here. Just a moderate stretch. Breathe. And then go ahead and bend the knee and place the right ankle on the left knee. So we come into our figure 4. And to begin, take your right hand into the right knee and just push it away. Now, if you have some knee stuff going on, it can help to flex that right foot. Sometimes that can help to feel a little more, like the knee's a little more protected. And then if you'd like to try the next stage, we would just pick the left foot up off the floor, interlace the hands behind the left thigh, pull that whole figure 4 in towards you, and feel that stretch. Now, a little differently, just right maybe through the IT band. You might feel this in the outer right hip. Some people have expressed they feel this a bit in the groin. So wherever you're feeling it, be with it. Breathe. And then release that left foot into the floor and extend your right leg out along the floor. Just to stretch that out a little bit, maybe shake it a little. And then place the right foot in the floor. Interlace behind the left thigh, and let's come back into our extend and bend. Right. Just finding a nice gentle movement in the knee joint, checking out how the back of the left leg feels. And the next time you come to extension, let's hold. And from there, point and flex. Keep your breath flowing, and then circle the foot around. And then switch and circle the other way. And then come in and just hold in the stretch. Mild stretch, breathe. Breath is elongated, even, fluid. And then we'll go ahead and release that by placing the left ankle on the right knee. Keep the right foot in the floor for now. Just simply press that left knee away from you with your hand. Breathe. Just feel the stretch here again. If it feels good, you can flex or helps the knee. Flex that left foot if you enjoy that. And then, of course, the next option is to interlace the hands behind the right thigh. that figure 4 up off the floor. Noticing what's right for you today. What's your truth in the practice for your body? What's best for you? And then go ahead and slowly release that and extend the left leg along the floor. Shake that out a little bit. And then we'll go ahead, place the left foot on the floor and remove the blanket if you still have one from underneath your head and out of the way so you have nothing on the floor above your head, okay? Arms by your side, palms down. Feet are hip width apart, parallel. And heels maybe 3 to 4 inches from your buttocks. Okay, so they're fairly close. You want to feel like your feet more or less are directly underneath your knees. This just gives you more leverage. Right? So keeping the arms by your side, let's go ahead and slowly peel the spine up off the floor, lifting the hips towards the ceiling, coming up as high as it feels comfortable for you. And then on your exhale, we lower back down. So we connect this with the breath and just feel as if you're picking up each vertebra off the floor and then slowly placing them down one by one back into the floor. So we inhale as we lift up, heart expands. Exhale, slowly roll it back down. So just finding your own rhythm here, finding the pace of your breath, and just really experience kind of the massage of the spine. Up and down off the floor. If you're comfortable doing so, it's helpful to close the eyes at times. It really helps us to go inside a bit more, to be more present to the body. And then we'll go ahead from here and come into single arm movement. So on an inhale, as we roll the spine up off the floor, right arm reaches overhead. If you can, it comes to the floor above you or as far as it feels right in your shoulder. Exhale, everything comes back down together. And then the left side, inhale, spine up, left arm reaches overhead. And exhale, lower it back down. So again, let's just go several rounds on your own, at your own pace. Eyes softly closed if you can. Connecting breath and movement. Resting our hearts in the present moment. Allowing this practice to be guided from the inside out. When you've gone equally to both sides, pause, listen, and feel the echo of the practice so far. And let's go ahead from here and come into our 3-part moving bridge. So inhaling, hips up, both arms overhead. And then we're going to leave the arms there this time as you exhale and lower the spine back into the floor. And then inhale back up, the spine, the hips. And now now everything comes down together. Exhale, hips and both arms back down by your side. And again, inhale, hips up, both arms overhead. Leave the arms there as you exhale and lower the spine back down. Inhale, back up. And exhale all the way back down together. Again, now I'm going to invite you to find your own rhythm here, your own pace with your breath, and you can change this up. If you want to move in a different direction here with this, a different order, feel free. Trust that inner guidance. Explore, be creative, finding your truth on the mat this morning in your practice. Wherever you are in your flow, the next time you find your way back to our starting point, spine in the floor, arms by your side, pause and feel. Notice how the body's responding. And we'll have a choice here to either come back to one of those flows we just did, or I'm going to guide you into bridge pose. So I'm going to allow you to make that choice. If you want to come into a bit of a stronger pose and hold, you'll leave the arms by your side, roll the shoulders underneath you. On an inhale, start to roll the spine back up, resting on your upper back. Okay, if that's possible. Neck is neutral, so the back of the head's in the floor. So we're not dropping the chin into the chest, nor are we drawing it way up to the ceiling. Okay, neck's neutral. So you can decide if this is enough for you right here. The full length of the arm in the floor, palms pressing down into your mat. The arms are quite active. So Dvipada Pitam, two-legged table. Relax the buttocks muscles. Feel the work start to come a little bit more in the quadriceps and hamstrings too. And then from here, you'll go ahead and interlace the hands underneath you. If you choose, you can keep the palms flat on the floor. And from here, roll side to side, shoulders deeply onto the back body, and pressing to the feet, lifting the hips even higher if that's possible. Set to Bandhasana, bridge pose. Find the breath. Come out when you want. Stay a little longer if you want. Be able to maintain that nice, long, smooth breath. And on your next exhale, if you're still in the pose, slowly and mindfully come back down. If you're finding the movement again, just pause and neutral here and feel. Once again, let's draw the knees into the chest. Hug yourself, give yourself a little hug. Maybe roll side to side a bit. And then we'll go ahead and roll over to hands and knees. Maybe placing a blanket underneath the knees if you need to today. That can be really helpful just to add a little extra cushion. We're going to go ahead and place the palms actively into the earth, right? So very mindfully be aware of the palm into the earth. And there's a little space in the center of the palm. Get a little space there. Draw the navel to the spine, toenails in the floor, backs of the feet in the floor. Exhale, round. And inhale, soften the heart towards the earth. Lift the head, lift the tail. Just moving back and forth here from our cat-cow. Feeling the full length of the spine involved with this movement, and the movement being guided by the breath. And then with your eyes closed, again, if that's comfortable, if it's not for you, then please don't. If you can, though, close the eyes and just be guided from within and notice where you'd like to take the movement from here. You can stay with the cat-cow, or it might feel nice to circle the hips around, or drop back into a child's pose, or lie onto the belly, right? Anything. Just really trust that inner teacher. Notice where you're guided. So the practice, the expression of the practice comes from the inside, right? It's not from our heads. Things that I'm saying are just a suggestion. They're not set in stone. I would be an outside source. So what's the inside source telling you? What does it feel like to do this from the tips of the fingers? Right? These are various ways that we can play that we don't often think about. What changes in the pose besides the shape of the hand? Do you notice anything else that shifts? And we'll curl the toes under, press the palms back into the floor, and find your way into down dog. And maybe on this one, take it for a walk. Right? Just alternating, bending the knees and moving through the hips and the spine. And come up onto the balls of the feet, lifting the heels way up. You can anchor them back down. And then we're going to go ahead from here, walk your feet to your hands, to a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Knees bent if need be, so the hands can lightly rest in the floor. Okay, so if the hamstrings are particularly tight today, or always, bend those knees. Give yourself permission to find ease in the body. Head's hanging, spine draping over the thighs. Feel that stretch in the back of the legs. We already discovered a little bit what's going on there earlier on our backs. Take a few deep breaths into the back body. Just hang out upside down for a minute. And then we'll go ahead and bring our hands to our hips, bend the knees, engage the core, lengthen the spine, find your way up to standing, inhaling. And just find your equilibrium here, find your feet rooted into the earth. Good. Just adjust my camera a little bit. Okay. So let's go ahead and play a little bit with some energy work. We'll inhale, palms down. So it's like we're drawing the energy up from the earth. Arms inhale, reach up. Feel that stretch. And then exhale, just flood the body with all that beautiful energy from head to toe. Palms down, just Feel like you're washing yourself with all that goodness. Inhale. And exhale. So just feel this play of energy and these subtle movements and the connection with the breath. And be in your truth, your experience with this, whatever it might be. Arms are light, the feet rooted. Again, that play of opposites. And then we'll pause here, arms by your side, and just feel. We often think more is better, bigger, faster, harder, right, stronger. And there's a profound effect in the subtleties, and allowing ourselves to experience that. Make sure your feet are shoulder width apart and parallel, okay, so a little wider than we would typically take in a yoga stance. Okay. And we're going to play with the earth and the sky. Okay, so we're going to play in these opposites. And what we'll do first is we inhale, we fold forward, and just fold forward as far as is comfortable for you. We're going to scoop, it's like we're scooping up the energy from Mother Earth, interlacing the hands, the knees are bent, my spine is straight, right? So it's just a very, right through here, take a sideways view. I'm scooping that up, coming into the heart. Once I reach into the heart, I flip the palms and press up to the ceiling. Big stretch, heart open. You can even bring the shoulders into the ears. We're pressing up and you can gaze up. And then we softly turn the palms, the palms stay up to the ceiling, but we bend the elbows just a little bit. Just soften the shoulders away from the ears and then press up again, lifting the heels up off the floor. And then release the hands and everything floats back down by your side. And just feel that. Okay. So we're going to do that a few times and we'll connect this with our breath. Inhale, fold forward, interlace the hands, scoop up to the heart. It's all one inhale. Exhale, press up to the ceiling, gaze up, feet are rooted. Inhale, we soften the elbows. And exhale, press up. Look straight ahead, heels lift, press up again. Big stretch, and release the hands. Pause and feel. Breathe. And again, inhale, scoop it up. Exhale, press up. Relax the elbows as you inhale and then press up, lift the heels. And exhale, everything releases. One more inhale. Exhale. Relax the shoulders and the elbow. Inhale, press up. Heels lift. And exhale, everything softens. And feel. Good. So we're going to let's do our immune work, okay, so we don't skip that. So we'll start with the Hegu point, right? So if you haven't done this with us yet, you're just massaging right in between the thumb and first finger, that fleshy part. It can be rather tender for many people, so if that's the case, maybe spend a little extra time with this. And then switch and massage the other hand. So this is also, again, really nice for head stuff. So who knows, we were talking about tinnitus at the beginning of class. Maybe it could help that eventually. But it's supposed to be good for headaches and dizziness and increases the immune system. So then we just take the hands and just, right, about 30 times. Nice full breathing. And then switch other direction. And then pause, feel that. Feel the sensations in the hands and notice if anything else in the body you're experiencing. Then we're going to come to the Naguan point. So if you take your 3 fingers from the crease of your wrist and you're going to massage just outside that 3rd finger there. Right? Again, you might find a tender point there. Just breathe. Nice full deep breaths. And then we just take the fingers, flat fingers, and just tap. So this is also really good for heart circulation, or heart chi. So it can be very helpful for blood pressure. All right, so go ahead, 3 fingers, let's move to the other side, same thing, and then massage that point. And then again, just tapping. And then pause and just feel. Notice the sensations. Right. And if we take our palms and place them on top of our kneecaps, notice where the ring finger falls. And right there, soft fist, we're just going to knock. So, Jusan Li point. This is longevity and also good for the immune system. And then come back up and feel that. All right, so let's do one more little Qigong exercise. I introduced this to you all on Wednesday as a 5-element practice. I've really been enjoying it. I've been working with it every day. And the more I think we work with it, you'll find a nice flow like I have. So we're going to take a fairly wide stance. Okay, feet are parallel, but probably even wider than the shoulders. We want to feel like almost we're going to ride a horse. We're on the back of a horse, because we're going to bend the knees, and the feet, they stay parallel and firmly really rooted in the earth. So notice if you tend to collapse into the arch of your foot and the knees collapse, really make sure you're staying anchored through all 4 points of both feet. For those of you with sensitive knees, obviously just don't bend as far. But if you can, we really kind of sit down into this pose, right? So I'm sitting back pretty far, so it's pretty strong. And then we're going to bring the arms out in front of us like we're holding, the palms face one another. We're holding a ball of energy out here. Okay, spine is tall, tailbone slightly tucked, core engaged for now. We're going to warm up here. We're just going to feel the heat right here. And as you breathe, I want you to, from here, breathe, inhale, allow the belly to expand. And exhale, draw it back into the spine, exhale. Inhale, belly expands. And exhale, contract. So there'll be a lot to think about here, so just do the best you can with it, but we want to maintain this breathing through the exercise where the belly opens on inhale and contracts on exhale. Okay? Inhale, we're going to take that ball, bring it down, around, and we come up. Exhale, draw that navel into the spine. And we come back down. Okay? Inhale, arms cross, come upright. Exhale around. Inhale, arms float up, palms down, just shoulder height. Exhale, back down into the squat. Inhale as we make soft fists, come upright and draw them into the side body. Exhale, press away. Pause and hold. So it's okay if you don't get this yet, right? It took me a little while to get it too, but again, I'm really enjoying it, so I'd like to bring it into the practice fairly regularly. Right? So again, inhale, belly opens, we come upright. Exhale, navel to spine as we come back around. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Pause. Feel the strength in this pose, sense of groundedness, all 4 points of both feet equally planted, shoulders down and relaxed away from the ears. And we'll go one more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and exhale. And slowly come up and bring the feet back underneath you, hip width apart, and just feel. Good. So let's do a little half salutations. I know I have several of you here today with some knee stuff, so I wanted to minimize how much time we spend in our knees today. So let's come into our half salutations. On an inhale, bring the arms, and we can really find some nice energy here. Take a hold of one wrist and exhale, fold to the opposite side. We're going to work with the spine in all directions. Inhale, come back up, and exhale over to the other side. Inhale, back up, and exhale over the arms. Either hands to your hips or low back. Inhale, open the heart, gentle back bend. And exhale as the hands run down the back of the legs, fold forward. Finding your forward fold. From here, hands to your shins, inhale halfway. And exhale, release. Inhale, come up to standing. And take a hold of one wrist and exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale halfway. And exhale, release. Inhale, come back up. Grab a hold of with one wrist. Let's just move through this on your own. And again, I'm okay if you change it up. I want you to be okay with that. Find your truth here. Move in a way that feels right for you. Get creative. Just enjoy being in your body on your mat this morning. Allow your choices to serve you. You can speed it up, you could slow it down. You could do something totally different. The next time you find your way to standing, let's go ahead and bring the palms together at your heart. Just feel the practice. And so let's find a straddle pose, and if you have a block, go ahead and grab that. Okay, so some of you may end up not using the block at all, but you might really enjoy it. So you have that option. Okay, so I have the block out in front of me. I'm going to find a nice wide straddle. Okay, now I really like going wide. For some people that may not feel as comfortable, so narrow that up, that's fine. Find your truth, right? Allow your body to speak to you. Listen to what's right for you, not what's right for me. Right? From here, we bring our hands to our hips. Knees are soft, so make sure you're not locking in the knee joints if you have that pattern in you. So knees are soft, joints soft, and you can even bend them slightly if you need to, but we're going to fold forward. We're leading with the heart. I'm folding at the hip flexor. My spine is nice and long, my core engaged, as I bring my hands out in front of me to the block at level 3. Okay, so I have my block at its height, at its tallest level. Okay, I'm making some adjustments in my feet. I want to go even wider. Right, so again, the foundation first. And I'm going to stay here for just a moment with my spine's elongated. I almost feel as if I'm at a 90-degree bend at my hips, and my body, my upper body, is parallel to the floor. Okay, so there's that sense of a 90-degree bend here. My heart is lifted, shoulders away from the ears, core engaged. Just feel the stretch through the back of my legs. Bend the knees if you need to. And then we're going to keep the hands on the block. You're going to bend the right knee and just shift to the right and drop into a stretch in the inner left thigh and groin. Just breathe here, nice steady breathing. Feel that stretch in the inner thigh. You can play with the hip placement. Even if I just take my hips ever so slightly and shift them, I feel that even more. So it really depends on how deeply you want to feel that. So I don't really have to bend significantly into that right knee to feel this. It's more about shifting of the hips. And then we're going to come back to center. Take a breath here, feel that. And then we'll shift to the left. So bend the left knee. And I'm shifting with my hips more than it is about bending my knee. And then I feel that stretch. I'm dropping into a nice, safe stretch to the inner right thigh and the groin. And breathe here. back to center. And then really decide, really check in with yourself. Notice, do you want to change your stance? Maybe you'd like to narrow it up or make it wider. Maybe you'd like to lower the block. We're going to come into a deeper forward fold here, so you decide. There's a lot of variations. You can stay right where we were. You can lower the block. You've got 2 different levels. You can also come to the floor. You can walk your hands in between your feet, right? It just really depends on what you want from your practice this morning, or what your practice is asking of you to take care of who's on the mat, right? You can bring forearms to the block. Some of you might be able to take your third eye to the block. At level, I find I can do it at level 3, probably not much more. And so all positions here, just find what feels right for you. What's your truth here? And breathe. And to come up out of the pose, make sure your core is engaged. Bring your hands back to the block if they left. And then you can just heel toe it. Start to work your feet closer together. Okay. So you're just in a standing forward fold. Then bend the knees, bring the hands to your hips, engage the core, press down to come up. And just take a moment here, find your equilibrium. Take a few breaths. Feel the practice. Just feeling the echo of the practice, the results of your choices. And if you're not, go ahead and find your way back to the front of your mat. Feet underneath the hips, parallel, nice tall spine. And on an inhale, arms reach up, palms together. Exhale down through center, fold forward. Walk both feet back, find down dog again. Walking that out a little bit. If you have it available to you, we'll go ahead and come to the knees. We're going to find our way onto our backs in a moment. So for those of you not comfortable being on your knees today, go ahead, come onto your back. We'll meet you there in a moment. And otherwise, if you can, we're going to release back into a child's pose. Maybe your head rests on your hands if you want. You can have the arms extended. You can also bring the palms together, bend the elbows, coming to the back of the head. Gratitude, surrender, humble, reverence, all the energies that come up here. And then let's go ahead and come onto our backs if you're not there. We're going to come into a twist, a little bit of a twist, so you're welcome to have a blanket underneath your head if you'd like to. We're going to do a single knee twist, and you may want to try a block on this. So let me adjust my camera again. You can see my mat. Okay, extend the right leg out along the floor. We're going to shift our hips. We're literally going to pick them up and shift them to the left. Okay, and then I'm going to use my block at level 3. I know that. We're going to pick that left knee up Draw it across the body, and it can come to the block. Now, some of you might want to take this deeper and come to no block, or a different level of the block. I'm going to come here. My low back is sensitive these days. So we want to try to keep that left shoulder in the floor, right? The heart, the chest is open. And so if we take this twist too far, you're going to feel that left shoulder roll up off the floor. We want to try to maintain or keep it the end of the floor. And then rotate your head to the left. And breathe here. It's a single knee twist. Really nice for digestion. Massaging the internal organs. Breathe gently into the belly. And then we'll slowly come up. Recenter the hips. Extend the left leg along the floor. Maybe even take a moment, just check in with that twist and how that felt for you. And whatever you did on that side doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the same on this side. You know? Just know that, respect that in your body. Right hips, or pick up the hips and shift them to the right. If you're using the block, bring it with you. Right shoulder needs to stay on the floor as we bring that right leg up and over. And then again, you can rotate the head to the right. And breathe into the belly. And then slowly bring that back to neutral. Or bring the knee up. Recenter the hips. Pause, feel the twist, just feel the body's response to the choices you made. And let's draw the knees into the chest, round the low back. Give you the option once again to just come in and hold, or if you prefer the movement, right? Inhaling, arm lengths away, and exhale towards you. Trust that inner teacher as to what's for your highest good today. Then let's go ahead, place both feet in the floor. Come back to our hip hikers or sliders. Maybe something shifted from the beginning of practice to now. hip pointers. And alternating between these two. And then pause any movement. Feel the echo of the practice and just notice if there's anything that would complete it this morning for you. If there's something we didn't do, just take 1 minute here. 1 minute. If there's any other movement the body desires before coming into our final pose of Shavasana together. I'm going to take you into some guided breath work this morning and then into a Yoga Nidra practice. Take about maybe 5 or 6 more slow breaths. And when you're ready, if you haven't already, go ahead and find your way into Shavasana, extending the legs out along the floor, finding any props that you would like for support. So you might want a blanket underneath your head, something rolled underneath the knees. If your space is cool, you're going to cool down rather quickly, so you may want to have a blanket on you. And once you've settled in, bring your awareness to your breath and simply observe it. Just observe your body breathing without shaping it or controlling it. Be aware of the breath as it flows in and out, the journey of the breath in and out of the body. Allow the breath to find its own rhythm. You're just simply observing the journey of the breath in and out. Bring your awareness to the brief pause before the breath switches. So you're not creating the pause, you're not holding the breath, you're allowing the breath to be in its own rhythm. You're resting your awareness in that moment as the breath shifts from the inhale to the exhale, exhale to the inhale. There's a moment of non-breathing. Rest your attention there both times. Inhale to exhale, exhale to inhale. See and feel the breath as it transitions, almost as if there is no pause, just a transition between the breaths. Sense that each time you inhale, there's a wave of life force that enters the body and replenishes the mind. And that each exhale, there's an experience of emptying, letting go, and a sense of returning the breath back to the ocean from which it came. Body is still, open to the earth, the mind completely passive. Surrender to gravity. Allow your attention to the breath to fall away and bring your awareness to the midbrain or the third eye and sense a star-like point of light, a blue star-like point of light at the third eye. Feel or sense it, no effort. See this star-like point of light in the throat, its presence healing and nurturing. Right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, tip of the right thumb, blue point of light, index fingertip, middle finger, relax, ring finger, little finger, right wrist, blue star, relax, right elbow, right shoulder, throat center, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, relax, left thumb tip, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, little finger, wrist, left elbow, blue star-like point of light, relax, left shoulder, throat, see or feel the blue star-like point of light in the throat. Heart center, luminous with a blue twinkling star. Center of the right chest, heart center. Left chest, heart center. Navel center. Top of the sacrum, blue star at the top of the sacrum. Right hip joint, right knee, right ankle, blue star. Tip of the big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth, relax. Tip of the little toe, right ankle, right knee, right hip joint, top of the sacrum, left hip joint, left knee, left ankle, blue star-like point of light, left big toe, second toe, third, fourth, tip of the little toe, point of light, left ankle, knee, hip, top of the sacrum, navel center, heart center, point of light, throat center, midbrain or third eye. Relax the entire body and see all of these points at once. Sense the mind has become the space between the points. The body is space lit by those distinct points. Please bring your awareness to your heart center and sense the abode of absolute tranquility. The heart is a portal to oneness, boundless ease, and stillness. Please rest your mind in the heart. And as you rest the mind in the heart, continue to let go and deepen the experience of release of all feelings, thoughts, and desires. Awareness abides in the heart center, expands in that space, absorbed in complete tranquility and ease. While abiding in the heart, see or feel that your breath has shifted into a perfect rhythm for this moment. And for the next couple of minutes, remain aware of the breath, resting in your heart center in absolute tranquility. And just slowly deepen your breath. Just flood the body with oxygen. You might be begin to wiggle some fingers and toes a little bit, just slowly bringing yourself back. Eventually rolling to one side, pausing there for a few breaths. And then find your way to a seated position. Just for a moment. Once you've settled into your seat, take a moment to check in again with who's here. Noticing the physical body and what may have shifted, the breath and energy body, mind and emotions, wisdom body. Maybe you feel a little more connected to that. Maybe you caught some glimpses of peace, of your truth. And whoever you are right now, just invite you to be willing to honor this person throughout the day through the choices you make, to be in your own truth as to what serves you, what's your highest good. Because when we are working from our highest good, we can therefore give back from a place of fullness, from the overflow. Bring your palms together to your hearts. Just honor this time we shared with one another. And I thank you for allowing me to take the seat of teacher today. Namaste.